What up, TikTok? Hey, hope everybody's having a great Friday. Hey, don't let anything that's negative in your life dictate the rest of your life. Does that make sense? Hey, we all go through some hard times. We all go through some emotional stressors, maybe at work, maybe at home, whatever it may be. Don't let that dictate who you are and how you react to the rest of the things that life throws at you. Does that make sense? Like if you're feeling pissed off and angry all morning or all day, you're going to take that energy and you're going to present it to everybody else that surrounds you, your loved ones, your soldiers, whoever it may be. You're going to use that negative energy and it's just going to make everything worse. Try to be positive. Pick something positive in life that's going really well. Use that positive energy and let that dictate the rest of your day. We can harp on the negatives. We can harp on the bad things that are going on in life. It's not going to help us. It's not going to help us move forward. Stay strong, keep pushing, drive on. Happy Friday.
What's up, Trash Talkers? Hitting you up this morning with a special promo on how to dress when you're doing PT in civilians, but you want everybody to know you're an Army. This comes from the Buddy Beckwith fashion design of how to work out. So first, you can notice the RI panties. Not Ranger panties, but Ranger Instructor panties. The green socks, the knee brace for the old guys. Don't forget the M frames. Now the shirt, don't wear the Trash Talk shirt while you're running. This is just for the promo. You want to put on like an 80-second shirt or like your favorite airborne shirt so everybody knows that you're a veteran. That's the most important thing. And you start with this stretch. Buddy Beckwith taught me this one. Ready to go.
So, I'm walking out of the gas station and my co-worker, who's an old MP, but we still claim him, and has engaged the man in conversation. Not much for conversation with strangers, but he's got the tab. So, as I walk by, I say airborne, and the man responds with, and I quote, "Hoorah." So, after I instructed my co-worker to slash every single tire before he put the car in gear, I looked for the biggest rock. As I crow hop to throw it through his back window so he can stop posing as one of us, I actually wake up and realize that the man's ignorance had incapacitated me for a moment, and I was daydreaming. I mean, because in that moment you got two options. I chose the third option and said, "Incorrect. That's an incorrect response." And I kept walking. The man said nothing and he pulled away. So you tell me, what is it, a stolen valor thing? No Marine's gonna have an airborne tab, and no paratrooper's gonna say hidden hoorah. So you tell me, stolen valor?
Hey, y'all, I'm going to work. I left you a note on the refrigerator. I love y'all. I'm gonna go.
Hey, go get dressed. Get ready for school.
You're doing great. We're just tooling along.
Shit! Bad guys! Stop!
Let me break it down Barney style.
Today's show is brought to you by the Farkas Group at the Veterans Mortgage Source. Are you looking for a team you can trust for your mortgage needs? The Farkas Group is our trusted partner on the podcast. I serve with Zach, and he will definitely give you the best rate possible. Their goal is to educate veterans across the country on their earned VA home loan benefit. If you're looking to purchase or refinance your home, reach out to these guys for competitive rates or any information you may need on obtaining a VA mortgage for your property. They are licensed in multiple states. If they are not licensed in the state that you live in, they will still give you the advice that you need and the rates you should be looking for.
This is the Veteran Trash Talk Hour, hosted by Nick, Dave, Joe, and Buddy. Today's special guest is Patrick, a former Green Beret who said I was way cooler as a fueler.
Hey, what is going on, everybody? Happy Saturday, Trash Talkers and Gruntworks community. Welcome to episode 61. Shout out to our sponsor, Zach Farkas with the Veterans Mortgage Source. You can check him out at zach.farkas@vmsloans.com. All right. If you're in the business of buying a VA, buying a home, you need to use a VA loan, hit him up. He'll give you all the info required. Also, 10th Mountain Whiskey. Check them out at 10thwhiskey.com. Go in there, type in VTT, get yourself a special discount. And of course, last but not least, Kyle Early with Barrage Coffee. You can check them out at barragecoffee.com. Special guest today is Patrick. And today I'm joined by Nick and Buddy. We do not know, and Bill. Bill jumped in for Joe because we do not know where Joe's at. I think
Joe.
Natural disaster or whatever. But let's get this show started. Over to you, buddy.
Trigger Joe.
Yeah, well, Joe's got things. He's got things he's got to deal with. Mostly
natural disasters.
So my honesty cap's gonna be pretty quick today. Ever since we started this show and we went on Facebook, there've been a lot of haters out there that want to hate on the 82nd Airborne Division specifically, and they talk about how the mission is dead and paratroopers are irrelevant, blah blah blah. My question: who did they call up to go to Afghanistan? Who did they call up to go to Iraq? Was it?
Yeah.
Is it the 1st Infantry Division?
They just tied into jumping, buddy. They just tied into jumping. If you're not jumping in, you're not 82nd. Well, fuck you. They still called us.
Yeah, well, can you be ready in 18 hours to be wheels up and go get some people out of an embassy? You can't? That's what I thought. Take that. You suck. You still suck. And you'll suck forever because your legs and your horrible.
Boom.
That's all I got. On to Bill, the Russian, who's probably super happy that Kabul's fallen because, he's Russian and he feels vindicated. Now he feels vindicated.
He's not the Mad Russian anymore. He's sent at 7. In 7 more days.
He denounced far too many comments of people saying I supported Putin.
Yeah.
You denounced your citizenship, Bill?
Yeah, he looks like Dolph Lundgren, so we call him the Mad Russian, and people on Gruntworks are losing their shit. Like, oh, you fucking communist! No, he's not really Russian.
Fucking KGB on the show.
Speaking of Afghanistan, I've noticed another trend of all of the past 2 weeks. I don't know if anybody follows or likes to listen to Anthony Jeselnik. Big time comedian. He did a skit a while ago called Thoughts and Prayers, right? Where he talked about whenever there's a big catastrophe, like the Boston Marathon and all that, everybody goes on there and says thoughts and prayers. And what they're really saying is, don't forget about me today. I got problems too. And I've noticed with Afghanistan, that's kind of the same thing with veterans, right? So a lot of people are, oh, my heart weighs heavy today thinking about poor Afghanis. And no, you don't. No, you don't. 90% of us that went over there didn't give 2 shits about those booger eaters and how they treated their daughters or how they treated their wives. What you're really saying
insensitive. You're just insensitive.
Yeah, what they're really saying is, thank me for my service today. I went to Afghanistan too. We all know what they're saying. Are there atrocities going on in Afghanistan? Absolutely. There's just all the crap that's happening to those people bad. Absolutely. Are 90% of the fake ass cooks that were doing salsa night on the boardwalk in Kandahar full of shit about half the shit they're saying? Absolutely. Or the people that ran the MWR at Bath Gym are the same people messing with me because I was
Where's Kyle Merriam at?
Shout out to Gabe.
You guys know what I'm talking about. What we need to worry about is how many Rippets were left behind unattended by Americans. We should have brought those people back. But hey, I'm just tired of the bullshit. Thank me for my service people that you see on Facebook all the time. Nick's one of them. We see it all the time. The big girl, always fake as usual.
Yeah, big girl just wants attention. It's the millennial in me. I want gratification, positive reinforcement. So please tell me I'm doing a good job today. Thank you.
But if you watched the show last night, if you watched the UFC pick'em last night, Nick did challenge me to round 2 of the golf tournament. So we do have to set a date for that. And it'll be coming up, and I will make him bend the knee once again.
This time we'll go live. This time we'll record the whole damn thing.
Yeah, we screwed up on that first one. It was a missed opportunity.
Hey, Megan.
And speaking of, now that I see Megan in the background, I voted on her little thing on Facebook yesterday, Dave. I'm a yes for more tattoos. Never say no to more tattoos.
She's got enough, man.
No, there's no such thing. No such thing. As long as they're not on her face.
Are you putting limits on a woman in 2021, Dave?
Yeah. This isn't Afghanistan, Dave.
This isn't Afghanistan, Dave.
As my boy, you should be voting no.
She gets to do whatever you want, whatever she wants. Friggin' Jesus, that's a European.
Isn't she also the breadwinner in your house? So
100%.
Why is her name in your mouth right now, Dave? You should shut up.
Yeah.
Before she puts you outside.
See what you started, Bill. See what you started.
She asks your opinion just to make you feel appreciated because you have millennial blood too. So you're like, and she understands that, and it's like, I'll ask him if he likes it. You know, none of it's changing. Sorry, Sergeant Major. Go ahead.
No, that's it. I spawned enough. This will be good.
Yeah, it's turned into a dumpster fire. Yeah, if you follow VTT's Big Earl, right, which you should, because like Kevin says, it'll make you better. All right, if you listen to my words, you'll be a better person. Buddy has, leaps and bounds become such a better person since we started this, because now we actually have interaction every week to where he is a better person.
My golf rhythm is, without question, better.
I 100% made you a better golfer in like 5 minutes. Like not even. So
that's actually not really a lot.
Yeah, it's really easy. I'm like a college professor with golf. I can't do it, so I just coach it. And that's the way that works. Well, anyways, I do want a caveat off of Bill, and it would behoove you to listen.
Maybe I'll piggyback.
Yeah, piggyback off of it. Remember, go to our store, all right, shop.veterantrashtalk.com or gruntworksclothing.com. And there is the safe debrief line that has, it would behoove you. All right. And let me caveat off that. All right. So it's a good little veteran joke, start the conversation. So go get a shirt, put in VTTGW, get a discount today. Keep calm, lace suppressive fire. All right. That'll trigger everybody out in California to wear that shirt. It's beautiful. Again, like Bill said, all right. Nobody gives a shit about how you make Afghanistan about you. All right. For you to say, well, but I was in Afghanistan, I'm an expert. No, you're not. All right. And then like even the generals that are all wanting FaceTime now, it's like, weren't you a 3-star then in 2008? Why didn't we win then? All right. Like why wasn't it over with then? What did you do? All right. And again, guys, you can't blame the generals for this. The generals, you don't know what they said. We'll find out in 40 years when they declassify the briefings. Right. And the general says, hey, we can't pull out like this. Right. And the president goes, yes, we are. Guess what? Yes, sir. Okay. That's how the army works. That's how the military works. Right? There's commander in chief. So let's not get too wound up on Afghanistan. Thank me for my service, please, in the chat. Someone who's watching, Charles Anderson, thank me for my service. I would really appreciate that. Well, I ran into Patrick on LinkedIn. And so, as I'm trying to find guests for the show, it's not very difficult. People want to come on it, but I read one of his posts and I was pretty intrigued by it. And I was like, well, this is another Dr. Phil for veterans, right? He's gonna come on here like Colonel Glick, like he comes on there and he's gonna tell you not to get down on yourself and to do better things with your life, right? But again, we are the community of veterans. We're the only ones that are gonna help each other. All right. The more money you throw at it, it's not going to work. It's not the VA's fault. All right. VA's got a tremendous responsibility. All right. And all hospitals are understaffed right now. How do you think the VA is? Right. So it's like, cut them a little bit of slack. All right. We need to take care of each other. If you've got a problem, if you've got a demon on the inside, bring it out. All right. Bring it out. Let's crush it together. So anyways, Patrick started Resiliency Outreach. I don't know if Chris is our fake Asian in the back is going to put up the thumbnail, but Resiliency Outreach, and it's not his first time he started anything. He decided he didn't want to work at Lowe's or work for anybody, and he wanted to build some brands and build some ways to help out. So we want to share his message. We want to promote him as best as we can to get more people to understand where they can go and get help and all other good stuff. So Patrick, the song, we always do a song where we make fun of you a little bit. So talk about your service. talk about, your businesses, what you've started, why you're doing it, all that kind of good stuff. And then, but most importantly, tell us why being a fueler in the reserves was actually cooler than being a Green Beret. So welcome to the show, Patrick. Pleasure to have you.
Hey, I appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity, and hopefully I can be a little bit cooler and better than Dr. Phil and all these other one-trick ponies out here trying to help out and whatever. But you said it yourself. Nobody can take care of a veteran better than a veteran, right? Because we've been there, we've done that, we've bled on the same soil together, we've experienced the same things, and so it's a lot of the same things that we have going on in our lives. Nobody, 5Ks aren't helping, 22 push-ups a day isn't helping. You just need another veteran in a place where you can rally behind and have that and share that camaraderie with. And being a fueler was like the coolest job that I had for all of 6 months before I realized it was super gay and I moved on with my life. So, and the backstory behind that was, after 9/11 happened, I wasn't 18 yet, but I wanted to enlist. And in order to do that, my parents had to sign off on my enlistment papers. So the agreement that I had was join the reserves, take advantage of college, et cetera, et cetera. The Army's been around for 200 years, whatever. The Army can wait 4 more years for little Patrick to come on board. So I went ahead and did that, joined the reserves. The only job was like a fueler or like a trash pickup specialist or something like that. So I picked the one that seemed like the easiest way for me to get out of the wire. And, when you're going through basic and AIT, they make it sound like it's the coolest job ever. You're the most essential task on the battlefield. Like, vehicles need fuel and aircraft need fuel, and you're the guy to make it happen. But what they don't tell you is that civilians do it. And then you get tasked out for other jobs. And so when I got done with my AIT, my unit had come back from the invasion of Iraq, and they're like, yeah, we're going to start sending out 1s and 2s out to Baghdad to support, to build BIOP and all that. And hey, Private Russell, you're going to be an ammo clerk or a mail clerk. And I was like, nope, not doing either of those. And so I was in college, and it was my first year being a freshman. And like at my midterm, I didn't even finish my first midterm. I was like, I'm fucking 18 now. I put my pencil down, walked out the door, and went and became a paratrooper, and ended up at Bragg for all of a week. And they were starting to build the brigade combat teams. Yeah, and they're sending a lot of us to Alaska to set up the 4th Brigade Airborne 25th up there, and did a quick couple years up there. Did a tour into Anbar province outside of Fallujah. Did the deal. Got a Purple Heart, came back, went to selection, and ended up at 5th Group as an engineer and the intelligence guy. And then
now you have just made your point. He is the second best person on this entire panel, just because he's an engineer from 5th Group.
But yeah, then I ended up at SWIC as an instructor, and right in the middle of my second year there, I had freak heart attack, and with 5% chance of surviving, and so that kind of segues into the creation of Resiliency Outreach. But obviously that was the end of my military career, because they had literally no idea why I had a heart attack. Running 10 miles a day, 1,000-pound club in the gym, and went down with a 5% chance of surviving with a Widowmaker. And
Wild Tiger. That's why. Wild Tiger. Too much Wild Tiger.
Yeah, Wild Tiger. That's right. So it was that was definitely the end of my military career after like 14 some years. And so Resiliency Outreach was
before you get to that, do they still don't know why you had a heart attack?
No, they don't. And I've had 2.
Jesus, man.
I flatlined on the second one.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So it's
coronavirus.
Yeah.
Variant Z.
They think the second one was residual from the first one, because they never cleaned me out. They just said like, well, here's a bunch of medicine. We don't know what's wrong with you, and see you later. And then I had the second one, and the doctor actually cleaned me out, put a stent in, and I was like $1 million. I was in Texas hunting 2 weeks later. So
very nice, very nice. So yeah, tell us about Outreach Resilience. Resiliency outreach.
Yeah. So
Something like that.
mouthful, I know. Yeah, it's a big.
Pay
it's a big
attention,
word.
buddy.
Hey, I'm
So-
just waiting for him to tell all you schlubs why fifth group is better than the rest of the groups and why engineers are the best humans on the planet.
Yeah, he'll get there. We were more concerned about the fueler.
No one ever let me live that down either. When we would deploy, I would be in the gunner's hatch or like in the back of the truck or something like that. And they'd be like, Pat, get out here and fuel up the fucking trucks. But yeah, anyways, so Resiliency Outreach was born, was created because I didn't know, my whole world was crashing down. Okay. When I was on my convalescent leave, I was sitting at home wondering, what the hell I was going to do with the rest of my life. I got a degree, I spoke at the time 3 languages, did a bunch of badass shit overseas. I could take on anything, but it was just wondering what those next steps were that were absolutely terrifying. And because I didn't have a plan, because it happened that quick, right? So there was no time to plan. I thought I still had 6 years to plan for stuff. And I was on track for my 8, everything was going good, and it all came crashing down around me. And so I was trying to figure it out. And I mean, if you can just picture yourself with like nowhere to go and no options readily available. And I mean, I've been in firefights, I've been blown up, and all these things that you guys did, and a lot of people listening have done as well. But I was scared. I was able to do my job before as an infantryman and as a Green Beret, but for the first time, I was absolutely terrified. I was going to lose my home. I was going to be homeless. I was going to lose my family, everything, because I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And so one of the things that I had realized during my convalescent leave, and it's stupid, but I went to get my kids something from McDonald's, right? Obviously, I didn't have McDonald's because I have a heart thing. So I went to go get my kids something from McDonald's, and I was like, well, what do I order? And my wife said, just get them the usual. And I had no idea what that was. And now this might sound stupid, but to me, it made me start thinking that I don't know anything about my kids. I don't know anything about my wife. The relationship that I thought I had with my family was not existent. It was not reality, the relationship that I thought I had with my family. And so while I was on my convalescent leave, I was trying to figure out how to bridge that gap and rebuild my relationship with my family and going to doing things and whatever. And trying to spend more time with my kids, I started volunteering at their youth group. And I wasn't a Bible thumper. I wasn't anything like that. I just wanted to spend time with my kids. And so I was volunteering with the youth group. I was helping serve food, and doing the thing. And in the whole time, they're talking about purpose and purpose and purpose and purpose and purpose. And in my mind, I'm like, how dare you? Right? Because it got me so mad, because I felt like I was living in my purpose, because the Army is all I knew since I was 17, right? That's all I knew. My whole adult life was just soldiering, being a soldier. And it came down like that. And I thought I was living in my purpose, and God took it away, right? So how dare you just talk about purpose and purpose and purpose and purpose, right? And until the point where one day I was in my driveway, and I was really angry, and I basically made, challenged God at it. And I looked up at the sky and I said, if, whatever your fucking purpose is for my life, now would be a great time to tell me, because I'm terrified. Right. And over time, things started to open up, and I know it might sound crazy to some people, but like I'm telling you, it kind of worked, because I started realizing, like, I like shooting guns. I like hunting. I like fishing. I like hiking. I like kayaking. I like doing all this stuff, right? I'm from Montana. I like being outside. I like being outside. I like being in the mountains, and I like doing stuff and challenging myself and stuff. But what I realized most was that what I'm feeling right now, I'm not the only person in history, and I'm not the only person right at that moment that's feeling that way. I'm not special. So me being the type of person that I am, not being special in any shape or form, I'm going to be a part of the solution instead of bitch about the problem. And so essentially, like, purpose and purpose and purpose and purpose, I started to realize that it wasn't the purpose of my life wasn't being the soldier, but it was who I am as a person that made me a good soldier, right? I myself am still the same person. The soldier part of me, the role that I was playing, is gone, but I'm still essentially the same person. I can still carry on who I am and drive with my purpose. And so I built this outreach with this model that has gotten me so many, you're talking about starting a podcast and getting laughed at. Try telling people that I'm starting a nonprofit and I don't care about your money. I care about you, what you want to do with your life, and how to get you to like take action on your own life. And people are like, oh, but that's not a good business model, Patrick. How do you sustain yourself? How do you scale? How do you build blah, 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 right? I bring in like hardly any money, and I've scaled into 6 states in less than 3 years, even during COVID, off of a model that it takes something that you are already doing, right? What is it that you are already doing that brings you your purpose, right? That brings you your joy, and how can we leverage that to share it with somebody else? Because somebody doesn't realize how much they need. What Chris likes is going for baking, right? Teach somebody how to make a cake. You don't realize that may be the make or break point of somebody taking their time out of their day to teach somebody how to make a cake. I mean, it's super simple like that, but it's what it is.
Yeah. Those of you watching, he referenced Chris the baker. All right, he's our fake Asian in the back. So make sure you make some comments about baking. He'd love it. Yeah, we got a lot of interactions with what you just said on the chat thread on Gruntworks. And one guy said he had a couple of heart attacks, and he says, let me see if I can find this comment here.
Want to know if they put the camera thing in his...
Did they pull the camera in the heart bit on you? He was like...
So I know so I'm a terrible patient. And the first time, all I know is they went through my groin and did something into my artery. So it might've been that camera or whatever. And that sucked ass, right? Because you're on so many blood thinners, and you got this like ball in your groin and with a catheter. And they're like, if you move, you're on so many blood thinners that if you rupture that femoral artery, you're going to die. Right. So when I had my second one, they're like,
screw that.
My groin. I was like, yeah. Right. Oh, and you can't move for like 3 days until they pull it out. And that sucks. And so when I had my second one and they're shaving me, I'm like, no, you're going through my wrist. Like, I don't care. You're going through my wrist. And they're like, we're going to do whatever we got to do. I said, you're going through my wrist. And so they go through the wrist, and you can feel it. You can feel it going into your armpit and everything. And I'll be honest, to help answer that question, I don't know what it was. All I know is my second time when they got to that point, as soon as I heard them say something like he sees the clot or whatever, I just turned my head to the left and I saw the nurse running and yelling, charging. And then I woke up on the table. So
yeah.
That's
pretty crazy. Yeah, like I just love the way you voiced that, the way you talked about why you started it, and the business model itself. And some more people talking on the thread about I almost started a podcast, and we talked about this pre-show. Guys, if you're out there watching, girls, stop thinking about starting something. Right? Start it.
Just do it.
If you fail, change it. All right, and make it better. All right, and just keep going. Keep finding purpose. Purpose might find you. Now, like with this podcast, again, I get yelled at by our media marketer because with our views and interactions, they said we should be charging anywhere from $700 to like $1,200 to come on our show, right? And it's like, we don't do that. Like we want veterans to come on here and voice their opinion, voice their message, tell a war story or two. Guess what? If you're watching, all right, the only person who hasn't really seen combat is Buddy. All right, I think he was at Sit Call in Syria when they did some cool stuff, and he missed out.
I made it to fifth group after when they stopped combat.
Yeah, so he, however, was part of the team that got into the car accidents with Russians, but that was because they were messing around. So no, they tried to start their combat, but it didn't happen. So yeah, if you guys got war stories, come on the show, bring your squad on. All right, talk about them. All right, like everyone here has seen it. All right, everyone here has been a part of it. We're all grunts, all right, except for Bill. He's half a grunt. He's a fister, but it's okay. And let's chat. Let's talk about your war stories, and then I'll thank you for your service. But hey, Patrick, where do people go to donate to you to help the cause? Like, what states are you operating in, and what exactly does it do? Like, what do you do for the veterans?
So what we do for the veterans, so I mentioned, the one trick pony thing. You got a lot of these organizations, and I don't mean that negatively. We're here talking shit. Just being.
You can say whatever the hell you want on here, brother.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'll be a
you
shithead. So, but you got these organizations. They only do hunting. They only do whatever, right? Our model again is that there's something, between Nick, Dave, Bill, Buddy, Chris. There's something with all of you that you enjoy doing because it's like it defines who you are, right? So I know people who would give up their whole life to go fishing, right? They're completely content living in a tent by a river and just fishing all day, right? So using that as an example, it's something that you're already doing. So if you're already doing it, one, you don't need to do a fundraiser to do it because you're already doing it. Two, you have everything that you need already to do it. So it minimizes coordinations. So third, now the veteran this is where we get into like what we do on a tangent. For the veteran who gets out and is kind of like lost, right? Doesn't know what to do. We give them task and purpose, right? Hey, you like fishing. You have some fishing stuff. Would you be interested in in doing a fishing event with other veterans and getting them out with their families and their kids and stuff like that? Like, oh yeah, who'd say no to that? Like, oh yeah, I totally would do that. Yeah, right? Like, cool. My outreach will sponsor it. Okay. Give me a 5W, right? Tell me who, what, when, where, why, and how. Just a brief concept, and we'll finalize it. We'll sponsor it. If we need anything else, I'll pay for it. Right. So that gets the veteran involved, not only with something that they enjoy doing, but it gives them a task and a purpose to share with other veterans and their families. And so my belief with the whole veteran suicide pandemic, because I almost killed myself a few years ago, right? Because I was in a very bad place. And it was because I didn't feel like I had a purpose in life. And so therefore it made me feel irrelevant. And so my belief is that if we do these things to restore purpose and relevance in the veterans' lives, then we can combat any strife, not only suicide, but maybe divorce, maybe job hardships, things like that. Giving them that purpose and making them feel like they matter in this world, I think we can combat anything. And so that's why I say we're not a one-trick pony. We can do anything. And that's how we're able to scale into these different states, because you can take it anywhere with it. And so in Indiana and Ohio and Texas and Oklahoma and Alabama, Tennessee, I think that's all of them. I mean, you don't have to have this huge, gigantic, mothership. You just take it over there and you find 1 to 2 people, and then you're able to branch off of them.
Hey, Pat. Hey, real quick. And I don't want to veer off too much off topic, but you did mention the suicide aspect. And, we mention this all the time. You'd be surprised so many people that are listening that might be in the gutters right now that just want to hear, like, you mentioned it, now you're where you're at. But could you elaborate, maybe like you were down in the dumps and then, it snapped out of you. One day you just said, hey, I can't be living like this anymore. And you made that change. What sparked that change? If you don't want to hit on it, it's fine, brother. But
no. I absolutely
it saves
agree.
a lot of lives, man. It could save a lot of lives of people and viewers that are watching. And
It
then
does.
second question, when you're done with that, Buddy loves Tinder. So how would we market that for Buddy when he comes to you and needs to, swipe right or left or whatever he does? We can
I
hit on that as
instruct
well.
people on how to use Tinder.
Yeah, he's a
Just
certified
said
instructor
that.
for
Just
Tinder,
said that,
Dave.
He loves Tinder, though. That's the whole
My
thing. And we're talking
name-
about things that veterans love. So we need to be able to apply that for Buddy as well.
Right. Go on Veteran Trash Talk's YouTube channel, and then go on the playlist, go on the promos. You got Buddy Beckwith teaches you how special forces guys use Tinder. It's probably one of you got to get through some stuff, but it's really
It's just
funny.
catfishing. It's
Yeah,
just
it's
catfishing.
taller.
Yeah. Whatever you can do, just be fucking taller. Right.
Perfect.
So like,
But yeah, Pat, if you could hit on that a little bit, that'd be great, man. Just for the people that are watching.
So yeah, so I don't mind talking about it because I used to keep it to myself, and but I did notice that, sharing it, being able to relate to people who are in those situations, it could be what they need to hear, but it's also a story that a lot of people, I don't want to say don't like, but they find it hard to swallow. But whatever. So
I was in a
my
gay
first
porn called Hard to Swallow. It's no big deal. 225. Oh, I'm sorry. Was my mic on? Damn.
But I mentioned my first deployment was to Anbar province, just outside of Fallujah. And that one had a lot of emotional effects. We're gunning for days on end, clearing city blocks, ripping people out of their homes. I mean, just shot at, blown up, like constantly. I mean, you guys heard the stories. You guys seen the YouTube clicks. I mean, it played an emotional role on me, and probably, not to sound too depressing, but like, I didn't have a lot of friends to begin with, and I lost almost all of them. And so you can just imagine how that would make you feel. And then when you came home, they weren't the same people because, PTSD and self-sabotage and things like that. But the emotional injury, the moral injury, I should say, the survivor's remorse, took me to a dark place. And for a lot of years, I was emotionally cut off from everybody. And I didn't realize this until my heart attack, that I used and abused people to get what I wanted, because I could die tomorrow. So fuck you. I'm going to live my life. Right. And I would protect myself from being hurt by not getting close to people. So I was emotionally numb to everything and everyone around me. I mean, my grandfather died. I didn't shed a tear. Yeah. I mean, one of those things. I just couldn't care about anything. And in 2015, actually, almost a year and a half before my first heart attack, something happened, and I was driving home, and I mean, it was like, when you can only shake up a bottle of Coke so much before it explodes. I exploded, and I was like, out of nowhere, I'm like just fucking crying. I'm like, what the hell's wrong with me? And I can't drive anymore. I about drove into the church by my house, trying to seek help, whatever. I'm just a fucking mess.
You parked first, right?
What's that?
You parked, right? You didn't drive it into the church, did you?
No, I'm still driving. I never went to the church.
Oh, okay. Right.
I just drove by it. But yeah, as I was coming up to it, I was like thinking about just driving it into the church, like, figuratively, I guess. But yeah, so the moral injury from the survivor's remorse, in my own brain, I had all these condemning thoughts, like, you should have died, because I just got a Purple Heart, right? I took a big chunk of shrapnel to my side, collapsed lung, coughed up some blood, whatever, right? I'm still here. But the thoughts going on in my head were, you should have died that day. These people were way better than you because they had families, people loved them, and blah, blah, blah. And like, you suck, just all these thoughts going on in my head that were just tearing me apart. And I was believing it. And I grabbed the Glock out of my car, right? I was parked in my driveway, and I had a Glock in my car because I carry. And all these thoughts going on, and just crying for like the first time in like 10 years, whatever. And I had this Glock in my hand, and like I said, I wasn't no church jockey or anything like that. I was hardly a believer for my own reasons. And I remember sitting there in my car with this Glock in my hand and said, God, if you're real, make these voices stop, or I will. And I had the radio on, and the radio, or the voices in my head, were so loud and so powerful, I couldn't hear the radio. Okay. And I said, God, if you're real, make these voices stop, or I will. And a voice in my head goes like, how dare you pray? You're not worthy of God's grace. Right. and a voice came through the radio, and I heard the voice, and I heard the words, "You are worthy." And when I heard that, the voices stopped. I stopped crying. And that Sunday, I went into that church. I sat in the back. I was like, there's something wrong with me. And I got up, I felt, I felt that tug. I walked up to the altar, and I'm a 270-pound Green Beret, and I collapsed at the altar. And I said, I don't want to live like this anymore. Something needs to change. I don't want to live like this anymore. And so that was the moment that was the lowest moment. That was rock bottom, damn near, for me. And then years later, after my heart attack, and I challenged God, like I mentioned earlier, like if you're really up there, like, what the fuck's your plan for me? Because I'm terrified, right? I was still clinging on to this little bit of hope that I had from that day. That was the only thing I was holding on to. And when I started the outreach, and I started to realize these things, like it allowed me to see the world in a different perspective. And what it did is it gave me so much faith for anything. And faith is like, in any circumstance, when you fall, you get back up because you have faith that it's going to be better next time, right? When you have a bad day, you have faith to wake up the next morning because it's another time to get a chance. I mean, 60,000 people or something like that, some ridiculous number like that, die in their sleep every night. Like, it's a retarded number. The fact that you wake up you have a 12.5% chance to die in your sleep every night. And the fact that you wake up every day, I mean, there's no reason for you to be sad. There's no reason for you to be depressed because you were chosen. You won the lottery that day. Yeah. And so, like you said, get the fuck after it. You want to start a podcast? Start a podcast. You want to start a business? Start a business. Figure it out as you go. Yeah. Figure it out as you go. If you fail, fuck it. Like, fail forward, get back up, try again. And so.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, man.
I 100% that you probably saved a life or two today. For sure. I know what happens. We know what happens on this show. We get people that contact us all the time. But that's the wrong word. Somebody said here, hey, even the toughest of us have went through it. And Scott's on there talking, about survivor's guilt. And, we have that. I told that story on Memorial Day, especially with a sniper team that got overrun. I was with them the night prior, and then my PL wouldn't let me go on the next day's mission because we assumed QRF that day. And, they took a different gunner, and, would I have done differently? Probably. Would we have all died? Maybe. You never know. It's just, it's a tough thing to deal with. And so, Buddy's a Green Beret. All right. You were a Green Beret. Dave was an infantryman, paratrooper. All right. Buddy and I, Rangers, all that kind of stuff. And then Bill, all right, the Fister. All right. But, 7th Group JTAC, he's able to control all the big bombs. I mean, we are doing the hardest stuff you can do in the Army, and we did it. And for us to not talk about it, for us to shut up and stay in silence, it hurts not only us inside, but it hurts everybody. So that's why we encourage people to come on the show. Hey, hit us up, man. If you want to come on the show and tell some war stories, that's the best way to get it out. This is our therapy. I go to behavioral
the best
health.
medicine right here. This is the best medicine.
I go to behavioral health, and just one more point, buddy. I turn over to you. I go to behavioral health, and I'm talking to my doctor, and she's like, "Do you ever think about killing yourself?" And I go, "Yes, but not with action." I go, I never actually think about how I'm going to do it. I go, but like you said, with the voices in your head, with the survivor's guilt, with the tinnitus, with the headaches, it's like you're sitting there in bed like, dude, I could stop all of this right now. All right. I can never have another night where I'm trying to go to sleep and can't. Okay. So those thoughts, it's okay to say they come into your head. And she goes, how do you handle those thoughts? How do you get relief? I go, every Saturday, man, I talk with my brothers. Every Saturday I talk with my brothers. Friday nights I talk with 2 of my brothers, and we're always on text threads together now because we have a business together. Get some of your veteran buddies together, start a freaking business. All right. And then you're gonna be talking to each other all day, every day. So buddy, go ahead.
No, I was going to. I noticed when Patrick was telling the story, he said that there's a time period between when he hit rock bottom and then when he was also in his car, after his first heart attack, and he was, but it kind of brings up the point that it's not like you're never going to like have an epiphany moment or hit rock bottom and then the next day be back up on top. You know what I mean? It's a process that you have to work through to get there. And there are going to be a bunch of times where you hit, the bottom and then you have to pull yourself back up. And I think a lot of people look for the fucking magic bullet, whether it's talking to their friends or doing whatever. And they're like, well, if I just talk to them once, then I'll be fine. Everything will be like, I'll be perfect. And it's a process that you have to continue to work at every single day. If you have like whatever guilt that you have or the demons that you're dealing with, you have to deal with them every day. You can't just well, I'll hit rock bottom, and then when I hit rock bottom, I'll be fine, and I'll move on. You know what I mean? I think that it's important to let people know that it's not like you're gonna have an epiphany and then be perfect again. You're still gonna have to work the entire time.
Yeah, I got a couple things on that. Earlier Pat talked about purpose and defining yourself. And, you guys on this panel remember I caught a lot of flack for a while, telling people let the Army define who they are. And I agree that the Army is a big part of who we are. I mean, no doubt. But a lot of guys that get out and they hit that wall because they've allowed the Army to define exactly who they are. So whether you get out at 25 years or 2 years or something happens, you have to get out, next month. By not allowing other things to define who you are is what makes you hit that wall and deal with that. Oh shit. So many times throughout the page and on the show, we say, hey, you can't let the Army define everything about who you are. You got to have those other things. So it helps for that other transition. And with that transition, whether it's starting a business or starting a podcast or whatever it is, surrounding yourself with people who want you to succeed instead of surrounding yourself with people who are going to tell you why you're not going to succeed is also huge. If Dave could win $1 million tomorrow, and instead of me telling him why he shouldn't have done it, or I wish it was somebody I would be stoked and not ask Dave for a single dime. I would be stoked that Dave
give you a little something. I'd give everybody a little something. That's who we are, man. Come on.
And the classic case of this is, Nick and I make fun of each other all the time about who's going to the better school, the Yale, the South, or the Harvard Southwest for our masters. And I had a conversation.
It's definitely UTEP.
It's definitely Arizona State. But anyway, I digress. The other day I had a conversation telling someone whether I was going to start a doctor or go for a second master's. Because, I'm one class away from finishing this master's. So long story short, I'm picking a second master's. But I had several people go, oh, you're stupid. Why would you do that? No, there's no point in getting a second master's. There's, why go to this? You're enlisted. Why do you need education anyway? But then I can come on this panel and, I had several others say, hey, man, that's awesome. And that's what made me think, that's what you need to surround yourself by is people who want you to do whatever you want to do. I don't care if I wanted to be the best video game player of all time. Surround yourself with people who want you to be that best video game player of all time, or start the best podcast. I see far too
just literally
people,
sometimes you just need to cut people out of your life.
Yeah,
because those people are holding you to fuck back. Yep.
Yeah. People surround themselves with people that want them to not be as good as they are or not exceed or succeed further than they have in life. And that's the other thing. Surround yourself with people that are kicking ass in life right now.
Yep.
But hey, what is this person doing that's allowing me to just skyrocket?
Yeah, Bill, with that, you remember when the people were protesting Wall Street? Like we are the 99%. And then there was the one smarty, funny ass guy that had the sign says, why don't you go ask that 1% how they got there? Right? Like, why don't you figure that shit out? If you're so jealous about it, go figure it out. Now, I don't remember the general's name. He's a Marine general, but when he was younger, he was the one that negotiated the Durant release in Somalia. So they dropped him off and he went, talked to whoever he had to talk to, right? And they got Durant out. So he did an LPD with us one time, and we were talking to him, and he's got 8 master's degrees, like 8 of them. And he said, he's like, I get paid by Yale. I got my retirement as a general. He's like, I don't have to go to school. He's like, but why not keep your brain working? Why not keep learning something? And like that goes with what Patrick was saying with his organization. You've already found out what you're doing that you love because you're already doing it. Right now, let's find a way to make it happen more. Right? Let's find a way to actually make it life. Right? Let's focus on that. You only have, so much time on this planet. Make it happen. And then there was the one guy, it's been kind of viral, said, do you want $1 million, but you won't wake up tomorrow? Or do you want to wake up tomorrow? All right. And most people will say, I want to wake up tomorrow. All right. Well, you just woke up with $1 million then, because that's how much it's worth to you. Yep. All right. You're literally a millionaire. So what are you going to do with it? How are you going to make yourself better? And yeah, we'll keep the show going for a little bit. This is a great conversation. And we'll get back to you, Patrick. Let me do the quick book of Earl, a little back thing for the 6 people that are probably sticking on. I know Keith Bach just came on. I know he likes to hear it. So he's watching. I'm going to talk about, the vaccines for a little bit. I'm going to talk about what we're doing to what we're using children as an excuse to be more afraid. All right. Here's my theory. There's no data yet. Okay. But I'm going to research this for my capstone. I'm going to do leadership decisions on COVID based off of data and logic, and then other people based off of, group thinking, what everybody else is doing. All right. And like El Paso's already a failure because we shut down last year when everybody else did. And we looked like heroes because there was nobody in the hospital. Nobody was sick. We did it. And then we loosened restrictions and got absolutely fucking hammered by it. All right. The reason why is because COVID wasn't here yet. So we literally shut down the economy without any data, without any logic. We did it because everybody else is. And then when we opened up, we got crushed. All right. So what you're doing with children, what you did last year was you canceled all the sports. Okay. You isolated all the kids. You sanitized their hands every 5 seconds. You put masks on their face. All right. They didn't catch common colds. They never worked out unless you have a privileged family like mine and some of the other people to where I could go get a trainer that didn't care about COVID and, take my girl swimming and do swimming for, an hour a day. Right? Like some people, there's a lot of people that don't have that ability. A lot of parents that are working 2 jobs, right? A lot of single parents. Those kids, obesity is up 36% in children this year. All right. Who does COVID really attack? What does it attack? It attacks your weaknesses. All right. It attacks fat people and it attacks people with diabetes, heart disease. It kills you. So what did we just do to our kids for a year? We made them fatter and we weakened their immune systems. And everybody's shocked that the Delta variant is ravaging kids right now. It's not killing them, but they're getting sick. All right. Because we just babied them for a year and we're literally making our kids targets because you're afraid. You don't make policies to protect older people and take it out on the kids. My daughter's bus driver, when she wasn't wearing a mask after football practice, said, "You're going to kill my mom if you don't wear a mask." Like, whoa, you really just told that to a 12-year-old? You really just put the weight of a life on a 12-year-old? Like, you're the person that is telling me I have to get vaccinated because you're fucking scared. All right? It is unethical and it is narcissist as shit. Dave loves that word. All right? You're narcissist as shit if you tell me to do something to my body medically because you're scared. Okay? I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I'm not an anti-COVID guy. All right? Like, listen to your doctor. Talk to your doctor. See what your doctor says. All right? It's an emergency use authorization vaccine. If you're telling kids to get it, you're unethical. You're a bad person. All right? You are a bad fucking person. Now, if you're a doctor and you say, hey, your kid's got this immune deficiency, regardless of the side effects down the road of this vaccine, if any, your kid's still better off taking it. Okay? That's a doctor. That's your doctor. Listen to him. Maybe not. Find another doctor. Okay? The point is don't ever tell people to do things to themselves because you're scared. All right. You handle your fear. You go get vaccinated. It's out there. All right. Stay the fuck away from people. All right. Don't lick your hand after shaking someone's hand. All right. You're probably going to be okay. All right. I caught COVID from kissing my wife. Okay. It happens. Like, oh well. Like, it is what it is. And we're married, so you get one kiss a week, and that's you got to take it. You got to get it when you get the chance, But so no, that's the book of Earl. Don't be a narcissist. Don't make people compliant because you're scared. I'm not saying not to get a vaccine. I'm just saying don't force it on others. Okay, so let's get back to Patrick, and let's get to
just to piggyback and
caveat.
And behoove, and I like the caveat, in order to behoove everyone, regardless of COVID, I would recommend not licking your palm after shaking somebody's hand.
Don't do it.
Good call, Bill.
Good call. That's my go-to.
You will get COVID. If you shake a guy's hand with COVID and you lick your palm, you're gonna get sick. Okay, it's gonna happen. This shit is contagious as shit. Okay,
I was just saying that's not just a COVID thing. You should just not do that.
Yeah, I mean, kids can do it. They're supposed to do it. Like the CDC released an article. They're supposed to get bacteria. All right, they're supposed to have that. They're supposed to play on playgrounds. All right, their immune system is supposed to get stronger. That's a CDC article, peer-reviewed, everything, right? But no, let's just all keep them inside for a year. And then just the poorer kids and the kids that have parents that can't take care of them, all they're doing is eating freaking Uber Eats, McDonald's, and yada, yada, yada. Now they're 40 pounds overweight because they didn't play a sport. And guess what? Now they're sick as shit this year. Duh. All right, like, way to ruin everybody's children's lives for the generations to come because you want to fucking be scared of a virus that doesn't kill 99.7% of people. But anyways, we won't get into that. But Patrick, where can we donate to you? How do people give you money to help out with you?
I appreciate the question. So yeah, we're on Facebook, Resiliency Outreach on Facebook. If you can't figure it out, then you can just send a message. It'll come to me. I'll send you a link. You can go to the website at resiliencyoutreach.org. And at the bottom, there should be a button for donations. And if nothing else, we're on PayPal, resiliencyoutreach@gmail.com. But I do want to add on to what Bill was saying earlier, if I can just have a couple minutes and to piggyback off.
Feel free. It'll behoove everybody to listen.
Yeah. So something that I share, it was something that I've learned in this whole, trying to start businesses and stuff like that. It's a sales mindset, but it applies to everything. It's called the IR theory. And what the IR theory is it's a delineation between your identity and your role in society. So your role in society in this context is the soldier, right? And what that soldier is and what that soldier does in society and its importance in society. And then you also have your identity, and that's who you are. And so the way that it works is that, like what he was saying, is we get so intertwined with our role that our identity becomes our role rather than being separated. And so when we exit the military, that role's gone, but because we've allowed the Army and ourselves to be defined by our role, it feels like our identity dies with it, and our identity goes with it. So one thing that I share with veterans going through that is, like, you got your role. If you're on a deserted island, right, or if you're all by yourself, how important is your role in society on a scale from 1 to 10? Usually people be like, oh, it's a 9, it's a 10, whatever. I help people like national security and all this stuff, right? It's like, okay, but what about same question, but your identity? They'll go, I'm a 4, I'm a 5, right? So they're like, you just said that you feel that your role is more important than who you are by your own words. 99% of people will answer like that. And what they need to understand is that your role, your boots are going to get hung up one day. You're going to hang up your beret, and that's going to be over, but you're still going to be who you are. And so you need to figure out who you are. And really, it's not that hard, because who you are enables your success in your role for being a soldier. So I just wanted to touch on that. And then the other thing I wanted to touch on was, I didn't come up with this, but it's something that I really like. There's 3 types of people that you'll have in your life: your confidants, your comrades, and your constituents. Your confidants are the ones, those are your ride or dies, that when you have an idea, you go, Nick, I got this idea, and you're like, sick, right? You're like super happy for your boy or whatever, right? And then you got your constituents, who are only with you because of your ideology. But as soon as your ideology doesn't match their ideology, they're gone. Okay. And then you got your comrades, who are neither for you nor against you, but you have similar objectives. And as soon as that objective is accomplished, they're gone, right? So it's important to be able to identify those people so you don't give your time and your focus and your energy to the wrong people who really don't care about you. You want to find those confidants in your life, and you're probably only going to have one or two in your life. And if you do, you're incredibly blessed. But the way that you find those is that you go to somebody and you have an idea for somebody, like, hey, I got this idea, I want to share it with you. And they're excited with you because you're excited. If they go, oh, let me hear it. Oh, that's not, they're probably not for you. Sorry, but don't waste your energy on them. And so I just wanted to share that because that's kind of something that I keep in my head and I try to share with other folks.
That's spot on, Pat.
Yeah, here we go. I got somebody triggered on here on the thread. They're obviously saying that there's a civic duty to take care of everybody else.
So, hey, I got a question for Mr. Civic Duty. How many ways are there to get vaccinated from this thing? Because from what I've seen, talking to doctors, you can either get a vaccine or you can catch it and make yourself vaccinated. So if I'm already caught it, then why would I go get another vaccine?
To conform to civic duty, to conform to what they tell you to do.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, the problem with their civic duty, like, because we're going to go down a rabbit hole with this one.
Right. This is a dumpster fire, huge dumpster fire conversation.
The problem.
Time to leave. I'm out.
Is that if we're in a pandemic and we want to change that to an endemic, which would be like the common cold, then you vaccinate the people that need help, that are in the high risk factors, your older people, your people with diabetes, they're overweight, all those people, you vaccinate them, you give them their boosters, everyone else catches it normally. And then at some point you stop vaccinating because we build our own either IgG or IgM antibodies, and then it just becomes just like the cold.
Well, hey, buddy, so the vaccines.
You'd have to actually, quote unquote, do your research. You know what I mean? Like,
or just call a doctor. Call your doctor.
This is why when Nick said vaccines, Dave and I both went.
Yeah. So here you go.
Sergeant Major Bill, what do you have to say about this?
Here you go. What vaccines do they make you take for school, right? Your kids. All right. You got like polio, all right, mumps, measles. That shit'll kill you.
Why?
It'll kill everyone.
No.
Yes, it will. It'll fucking kill you.
Hold on, but not only will it kill you, it will kill you as a child.
Yes, as a child, it will fucking kill you.
COVID doesn't kill kids.
COVID doesn't kill children. Okay, COVID's like the flu. Guess what? The flu killed 600 kids in 2017. 600. All right, COVID has killed like 7 healthy kids. 7.
How's the weather over there, Bill?
All right, why were we not wearing masks in 2017 when all these kids were dying of the flu? All right, I don't want my kids to get the flu, right? That's not something that's herd immunity. You don't want kids to get the flu that are younger because it can kill them. All right, you don't want them to. You want them to get common colds, all right? You want them to get the common bacteria, right? So
that's why I always make mine lick their palms after they shake.
Yeah, lick your freaking hands, kids, all right? So anyways, these vaccines, they take years. It took 50, 60 years to figure out that giving chickenpox to your kids was a bad idea, all right? Like the experts, like, oh shit, we probably shouldn't do that, right? Like, and that's cool because that's what experts were doing. And then they're like, you know what? It took them 20 years and they built a vaccine for it. Okay. Like that's FDA approved, tested on animals, right? All the trials, like, hey, this works. Took 20 years and it works. Now I want to give our experts credit because they came up with an emergency use authorization vaccine very quickly. Right. And so if you're in those top 2 categories of risk, like they saved your life. Okay, they did. Those experts did that, and it reduced symptoms by 91%. To get FDA approved, it only has to be 50, right? Now, because they're rushing, right? Now that same vaccine is only successful to lowering symptoms to 70% now, so it's dropping, and then you need that booster. Okay, again, all this shit is out there. Go to the CDC website; it's out there. And you can't make somebody take a vaccine because you're fucking scared. It's no civic duty in being scared, okay? Like, it's not my civic duty to worry about your fucking peanut allergy, All right. If you got a fucking peanut allergy and I'm eating a fucking PBJ, stay away from me. Okay. I'm eating a PBJ. All right. And now if I go over to a party and everybody goes, hey, Dave has an allergy to like everything American because he's European as shit. All right. It's like, okay, like I'll respect that. I'm in the house, right? Like, I got you, Dave. I'm not gonna do that to you. All right, we won't talk about soccer, whatever. You know, like I'll hook you up. That's civic duty. All right. If I know that you're compromised, I'm not gonna come over and sneeze in your face. Okay, that's civic duty. All right, they're not taking a fucking vaccine, you idiot. All right, so like, look, oh, you need to put this in your body. Okay, well, go to fucking China where they kill everybody. That's where they started this virus, to kill everybody. All right, kill all the old people. They got a lot of fucking people over there. All right, they paid you not to have kids. Okay, they pay you not to have kids. Go there, motherfucker, and do the civic duty there. All right, here I'm not getting shot because you're scared. Okay, sorry. Not do. I'm gonna eat right. I'm gonna work out, and I got the Buddy Beckwith, workout clothes that he taught me to wear, and I got the stretches he taught me to do. Like I'm pretty much a monster. Go on our YouTube channel and check those out. Whenever you see me stretching, doing the workouts, that's all Buddy down there in the screen. He taught me all that shit, right? And the reason I go to behavioral health is because I had leaders like Buddy when I got in the Army. Like he's a fucking staff sergeant. I was E4, right? Yeah. Fucking nightmares.
Look at us now.
Yeah, dumpster.
Wow.
Oh, we could talk about soccer, Dave. If you want to talk about mismanagement, if
Right.
you're managing a team, do you let Messi walk?
Because there's only like 3 really good soccer players in the world, right? Like there's like 3 superstars. Like
one team just let Messi walk, and he was going to take a pay cut.
What? Like, in real football, in American football, you can let a superstar go and build up, spend the money on 5 or 6 guys that are 4-star guys, and it makes your team better. But you don't fucking let Messi go, Dave, do you?
It is what it is.
No. How is the Bundesliga doing? Is there like
I don't know. I was talking to Perry about it today. I really don't follow it as much. I watched Italy whoop England's ass the other day.
And then you said it was intense. Like what?
It was very intense. It was an amazing game.
Minutes? Like
personal perspective. Yeah.
Was it when the ball went from this side to that side 45 times?
And it wasn't a stop every 30 seconds like in football. So it's like a continuous sport. That's why I enjoy it a lot more.
There's lots of stops in soccer when anybody
most watched sport in the world.
When anybody gets touched, there's a stop. Okay. They fucking roll around for 6 hours. Okay. So let's not.
And to all the viewers, I don't care. Football's cool too, but it's too slow for me. Like,
yeah, right.
There's a play and then they stop, and then there's a play and then they stop. And then there's a play and there's a stop.
Hold on. Yeah. Here we go.
Now you got me.
Let's go. Let's do this.
You got
football is too slow.
Hey, Patrick, welcome to the dumpster fire.
Soccer is 90 minutes of people running back and
I know I will lose this conversation because I'm outnumbered.
Grabbing their shins, and then there's the score at the end of a soccer game is 1-0. Like, what are you talking about? How is that even
so fucking intense, dude? Like, I'm seriously.
If I wanted to watch people run up and down a field, I would just watch a marathon get run. And
it's
like watching soccer.
I'll put this out there. You can't even compare the two sports. That's just dumb.
Yes, you can.
But let me be
on what level?
Guy here.
You could just say, I like the sport.
Size, speed, skill sets.
Oh,
all right. However,
but now the NFL is not allowing you to touch quarterbacks. So I think the NFL has gone weak against quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway.
Yes. They have to because the quarterback.
Ich liebe deutschen Fußball. Ich liebe deutschen Fußball.
If you have, if you let the players play like in the 90s and, before that, where they're just like absolutely clotheslining people and, dropping them on their heads, and you lose Rodgers, Mahomes, and like Josh Allen in a year, there goes your ratings. Fucking bye. So it's like you gotta keep them safe.
Rugby players still keep it. I've watched rugby players staple their head back together and get back out.
Yeah, rugby is pretty intense.
Go to your library at the Harvard of the Southwest and research how much money rugby brings in versus the NFL. So they make a little bit more. So they got to make sure that money keeps coming in. That's why they say stupid shit like, "Oh, we're incorporating more women's stuff into the NFL." Are you really? Like, it's like. Well, you got a coach now. Okay, cool. Like, no, they're just trying to keep money coming in. Rugby, I love watching rugby because those are warriors. Like, those are dudes that are going balls to the wall, right? And girls. Girls play rugby.
Pat, what do you watch? What sports do you watch, Pat? Because all in all, I really don't watch sports at all. They
He
like
doesn't.
worship.
No.
They like all these guys like worship these guys like they're their gods and stuff. I really couldn't tell you jack shit about an athlete. So it is what it is. I'll watch an occasional game, but I could really care less
Yeah,
about those
it's
guys.
it's Pat. If you need to know the reason that Dave is so aloof about sports is because he's more into the rap scene, making sure Eminem reads shaking, keeping track of all his young German white rapper friends.
I'll watch Steve Rinella and Cameron Haynes on all day. I'll watch that shit.
What do you watch, Pat? Do you watch football? Do you watch any sports?
I'll catch a game if it means something to me, but I don't watch that much TV. I do like going to a baseball game though with the kids. That's about
America's pastime.
Yeah.
America. All right.
America.
So anybody know that watching baseball, the Brewers are doing pretty well this year. I don't know if you're paying attention to that, but wait till the Fridays. Go back before the fights start tonight. Make sure you go check out our UFC Pick'em. It was a hilarious show last night. I'm pretty sure most of my fights will happen exactly how I said so. And
I remember the show last night.
Yeah, I don't remember much of it. So, but it was absolutely phenomenal. And get on there and bet with the experts. I've hit 8 of my last 9 parlays based off of Bill and Joe's picks. I literally turned $10 into like $1,700. All right, so just keep sending the picks, and then you're gonna make money. So watch the show, all that good stuff. And the NFL picks are coming soon. A couple more weeks. All right, a couple more weeks. We're gonna have NFL.
Is that
picks.
basketball? Is that basketball?
Yeah, it's basketball. So I don't know if you watched basketball, but the Milwaukee Bucks won the championship. So it's a big year for Wisconsin. Big year. We're coming. All right, we got basketball, football, baseball, all cylinders firing. But yeah, do we have what else do we want to talk about? One more time, Pat, have the last word, and then Dave, you can close us out unless we got something that Buddy wants to talk about, which the fifth group engineers. Do we want to address that?
Buddy's thinking about his Tinder date last night.
About how they're the 2 best people in this panel have been fifth group engineers. Not a huge deal. It's true.
I mean, we do keep the team alive, and all the property management and the demolitions and such.
Yeah, and we're like the Bravos, except for we know how to do math.
Yeah.
Final words, Pat. What do you got?
I mean, we hit on it, and I think you guys have all said it. Like, if you got something that you want to get going on, just get out there and do it. Don't get paralyzed. Don't get analysis paralysis and all that other shit. Just get out there. Whatever it is that you're trying to do, just go do it. Figure it out. And if you need help, reach out.
Absolutely. Come on our show. Come on our show and tell war stories. We'll be nice to you. Look, we were nice to the fueler, for Christ's sake. All right. So, again, you saved lives, Pat. You saved lives today. Your story, I guarantee you, inspired a few, if not 5, 6, 10. I know we got people fired up on the COVID thing, but that's just fun. So,
hey, very quick before you go to Dave, I'd like to ask everybody to go to Gold Star Teen Adventures. They got They got a sweepstakes going where you could win a truck right now. So go to Gold Star Teen Adventures. Throw in some money, enter a sweepstakes to win a truck, and worst comes to worst, you donate a bunch of money to some Gold Star kids.
Hey, so
Bill, hit on Gold Star kids real quick for like maybe some of the civilians that are watching.
Before you hit up on that, is the truck like Buddy's wants? Like, where is it like lifted and like?
Only if it's lifted in the front and dropped in the back. I want it to look like it.
Yeah, make sure. Yeah, get with the bosses there and be like, we need to have it lifted in the front. Otherwise, we're not donating. No, but yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, for all you first-time listeners, organization I like to raise money for is Gold Star Teen Adventures, organization out of Bragg that takes Gold Star kids, which are kids of our fallen brothers and sisters, and they take them out on hunting trips, scuba trips. They just went down to the combat dive school down there in Key West, Florida, and then I think the last trip was they were at SWIC, and SWIC guys taught a bunch of Gold Star kids how to do land nav and some survival skills in the woods. So please go donate to these kids. They take them from 14 all the way up, sometimes through college, and then take them on different, like I said, scuba trips, hunting trips, leadership schools, and really just get a bunch of Gold Star kids together and let them know they're not alone. And again, like I've said before, everybody does the RIP until Valhalla, but everybody forgets about the kids, these guys and girls left behind. So go ahead, go to Gold Star Teen Adventures, donate to them, And like I said, enter sweepstakes and a chance to win a trip.
Hey,
Awesome,
Sean,
thank you.
Sean, it's Throat Punch Monday. All right. Hey, yeah, this Monday, got the girls coming on again. All right. So I think it's 6:30 Central Time. Throat Punch Mondays will be on, and the ladies will be talking. It's going to be a good show. So make sure you check that out on our YouTube channel. Go ahead, Dave.
Hey, Pat, make sure you stay in contact with us. We'll plug your stuff on our website, everything, and on our pages, because that's what it's all about. Again, like Nick said earlier, I really appreciate you sharing your story, man. Sometimes when I ask viewers, our people that we have on here to share a story, I'm like, I'm not going to make it feel awkward, but this is our best medicine. This is our therapy. And somebody right now is in that position where they're down in the dumpster and they needed to hear that, whatever it was. They needed to hear that there is a way out. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. And you definitely proved that with everything that you're doing in the situation that you were in. So thanks again, man. Really appreciate it. Love what you're doing. Let's stay in contact again so we can push it out. To all the viewers that are watching right now, if you guys missed the first portion of the episode, make sure you go to our YouTube channel, okay? Give us a like, hit that subscribe button, watch the entire episode. Again, we welcome anybody on our show, okay? You want to promote your veteran-owned business for free? Come on the show. You want to talk war stories? Come on the show. All right, go to veterantrashtalk.com. That is our website, okay? We have all kinds of merch. We got tees. He's wearing the Monday morning throat punch shirt. We got the famous button, okay? Let me turn this bad boy on.
Let me break it down, Barney.
It comes with 12 military phrases, okay? It'd be, hey, put it on your desk, wherever. Might give you some PTSD from back in the day, but whatever. Go to shop.veterantrashtalk.com. Buy yourself something. Part of our proceeds go to Stop Soldier Suicide, who we're partnered with. Y'all have an amazing weekend. We'll catch you next Saturday. Out.
Love you guys.
Where do we turn to, veteran trash talk? Where do we turn to, veteran trash talk? Where do we turn to, veteran trash talk? Bravely every morning. Bad days, good days, up we rises. Bad days, good days, up we rises. Bad days, good days, up we rises. Bravely every morning. One day I'm okay, next day darkness. One day I'm okay, next day darkness. One day I'm okay, next day darkness. Bravely every morning. Bad days, good days, up we rises. Bad days, good days, up we rises. Bad days, good days, up we rises. Bravely every morning. Past is the past, so be forgiven. The past is the past, so be forgiven. The past is the past, so be forgiven. Bravely every morning. Bad days, good days, up we rises. Bad days, good days, up we rises. Bad days, good days, up we rises. Bravely every morning. Let's fight, don't quit, call that in order. Let's fight, don't quit, call that in order. Let's fight, don't quit, call that in order. Bravely every morning. Bad days, good days, up we rises. Bad days, good days, up we rises. Bad days, good days, up we rises. Bravely every morning. Raise a glass for those we're missing. Raise a glass for those we're missing. Raise a glass for those we're missing. Bravely every morning. Bad days, good days, up we rises. Bad days, good days, up we rises. Bad days, good days, up we rises. Bravely every morning. That's what we do in veteran trash talk. That's what we do in veteran trash talk. That's what we do in veteran trash talk. Bravely every